Welcome back on Winifred Yuji, my beautiful fashionistas. Today we are continuing with the sewing of this beautiful strapless bustier with a simple Basque waistline and a modest panel with a lace up back. So if you haven't watched the cutting of this bustier, it is the video just before this one, and I will also link it in the description box below. But if you're back here to watch the continuation, which is this very part, let us go on. So in the previous video we ended when we were about to cut our pieces onto the lining fabric. So it is a black cotton fabric and it is folded into two, I think you've seen, and I'm going to place all my pieces, all my main pieces, onto this black lining and pin everything down, then start cutting. So just repeat the same. We're just duplicating everything that we did when it comes to the main fabric of this bustier top. So after pinning everything down, I just get my scissors and start cutting. So this is what you're seeing me doing, and don't forget that the lining piece is on fold because some of the pieces we need them as a pair or double pieces. For example, this side front pieces, the back pieces, we need two for every piece that we have here. So after all this cutting, next is that we are going to be pinning our pieces together so that we take them to the sewing machine and start sewing. So guys, now these are our pieces, so I'm just going to unpin and again pin like right sides facing each other, front, like center front piece. This is the center front piece, but first let us remove the lining pieces. So this is what we are going to do. You place your center front piece, which is this one, right sides facing you. Then you place these side pieces on either side still. I will be sewing from down going upwards, just as we saw the princess dart. I love doing that, and if I have excesses at the top, I cut them off. So I'm also going to repeat the same for the lining pieces. So right sides, guys, facing each other, and we will sew at the wrong side at the sewing machine by 1/2 inch and join our pieces together. So guys, then also for the back pieces, this is what we have. So what I'm going to do, remove the lining pieces, then place my pieces, you know, like matching as they're supposed to be. You see now, for the back pieces we have 4 pieces, but if you want to cut it as a one piece, especially for the main fabric, that is okay also. But I love cutting them as separate pieces along that dart. So I will be joining them by 1/2 inch also, and I'm repeating the same process onto the lining pieces in the black cotton fabric. And guys, on one side of the back piece, I will not sew together the lining pieces because that is where we will be joining our modest panel. Yes, so leave one of the pieces of the lining unsewn. So after sewing, guys, I think you see what I told you. There's an excess that I'll be cutting out at the top there. Don't worry about that, it is very okay. And also remember, when I was cutting, I added 1/2 inch at the top, so I'm okay. Then these are the back pieces, as you see. Remember, we cut out 1.5 inches unfold, which gives us 3 inches unfolded at the center back there. So we will consider that to cut our modest panel, and we want the panel to be covering all this part where you're seeing me placing the measuring tape. It is about 8.5 inches there wrong, and if our back pieces are like 8.5 inches, the modest panel will be less by 1 inch. So guys, this is after sewing. By the way, whenever you sew curved pieces or curved anywhere that is curved, always make some cuts so that your seams relax. So this is it when it comes to the lining pieces after the sewing, and our main pieces also. And now guys, I think you're seeing that one of the lining pieces or one of the back lining sides is not so joined together because of the modest panel. So guys, I've also already cut the modest panel, but let me explain to you. So remember, we took out about 3 inches unfolded. Unfold, it was 1.5 inches when we cut in the previous video. So now I will measure from the one dart leg to the other for the width of the modest panel, because I don't want the modest panel to be short, to be poking out. So here I have about unfold, I have about 8 inches, but I added half an inch for sewing, so together I have 8.5 inches unfold. Remember, 3 inches that we cut out, and you know that is supposed to be 3 inches times 2 to get 6 inches, and then I added more like 2 inches to make 8, and half an inch for sewing, and my modest panel is unfold. So for the length of the modest panel, when it comes to the back length, it is 8.5 inches. So for the modest panel, I'll use 7.5. I just reduce it by just 1 inch so that it is not showing, or so that it is not the same length as the main piece. So guys, when it comes to the modest panel, always add some interfacing so that it is hard enough or stiff enough, and so that it can stand on its own and it won't be poking out when you're wearing your piece. So now, after adding or ironing the interfacing onto the piece of the modest panel, this is what I have, and I'll just sew by half an inch at the top and also at the bottom, and that will be all. So after that sewing guys, I will sandwich the modest panel in between the 2 lining pieces that are not sewn together yet, and that is how we attach the modest panel onto maybe corsets or anything that you want to add it on. Guys, also remember we have to form the basque waistline. So I'm going to mark 4 inches from down going upwards on the sides, and then I will connect into the center front. So make sure that the piece is lying flat properly, and then continue with shaping your piece into that basque waistline. So I used 3 inches, but you can even go to like, I see some people using 5 and more. Like, measure yourself so that you get like proper measurements. So now after cutting out that basque waistline, that's what we have. So I'm going to repeat also the same onto the lining piece for this front piece and form that basque waistline. Guys, there's a mistake I made there. When it comes to the ends, to the sides, when you're cutting, when you reach the sewing allowance, go flat, don't continue with that diagonal line. When you reach that and with the 1 inch of sewing allowance, you connect straight, like flat straight, not diagonally, so that when you're sewing, everything comes out together. So guys, after that, I'll just be sewing by 1/2 inch at the top and also at the bottom of my piece, and this is how it came out. Like at this point, I've also ironed it, and the sides are open, as you see. So this is the bustier, so nice, so beautiful. That is the Basque waistline, so simple. And now after joining, sandwiching that modest panel onto the 2 pieces of, I finished that, and I also went ahead and like I just top stitched so that it lies flat, and that is it. So now guys, we have to form loops and also the lace up string. So I have pieces here, they are really long, and the longest will be for the lace up strap or string, and then these other ones I have about 1.5 inches in width, and I'll be folding on either sides of each piece by 1/4 inch. Then again after that, also fold into 2 like this, and then run a top stitch on all these pieces, and after I'll use these pieces to cut my loops. So let me just take all these to the sewing machine and finish them up, then bring them back to cut the loops. So these are the finished straps or strings or straps. I think it's better. So I'm just going to be measuring 3 inches, and those, or such a measurement will just be enough for the loops where our lace up bag will be finished with. Guys, what am I even saying? But anyways, I think you've understood. Anyway, I'm going to use all these ropes, not ropes, but they are loops. Anyways, just forgive me. So I'm folding away the modest panel, guys. The lining piece is facing upwards. I'm going to fold away the modest panel and folding each loop into 2, kind of like an S in an S shape, and I'll be placing them close to each other, and I'll still be sandwiching the loops in between the lining piece and also the main fabric. But guys, before the sewing, you have to leave about 1/2 inch from the top, because that is going to be the sewing allowance. So leave 1/2 inch at the top and start placing the loops, and sew by 1/2 inch like this everywhere except the sides. So guys, at the sewing machine, I'm going to be sewing and we're sandwiching the loops one by one as I sew, like slowly, and finish my back pieces. So let me repeat. So I'll leave 1/2 inch, then fold into 2, into like an A shape or kind of a triangle, all these loops close to each other, or like what I see that is enough, like this, and I'll go on sewing downwards. I open my 2 pieces, sandwich the loop, and then continue sewing, and this is what I got after, guys. This is it. This is how it looks like. So neat. So guys, I wasn't careful when I was placing the modest panel. Like, I didn't mind which side it will be facing, but I see most people face their modest panel to the right. They sew it onto the left side so that it faces the right. I think maybe because most people are right hand sided, and mine came out when it is facing the left. It is from the right side facing the left, and I think it is okay. It is okay, but mostly the modest panel faces the right side because it is sewn onto the left hand side of the back part. Hope you understand that. But anyways, this is it after all the sewing. And remember, we have 3 inches in between these 2 sides, and this is how it looks like. I love the outcome. And if you don't want a modest panel, it can just be open and your skin will be showing. So the modest panel, it's just, to cover your skin if you don't want your back skin to be showing. But if you want, no need to add the modest panel. So guys, after that, I just bring my lace up string and start fixing it from the top going downwards, just as we do the shoelaces. There is no magic here, no rocket science. You just like insert it inside those loops until it is finished downward. And this piece is supposed to be very long, guys, not very extra long, but really long enough. And mine, I don't think is really long enough. I think I'll have to change it later. And this is it after everything. So it is not all that long enough, but that is enough for now. And now you see our modest panel is attached. It is only attached onto the lining piece. For best results, it is attached onto the lining piece only, and everything will just be kawa. After that, guys, you just join your back piece together with the front piece by the 1 inch that we left. If possible, you can even just join lining to lining, main fabric to main fabric, so that you have a clean finish. But if you don't, after here, take it to an overlocker and you continue with a clean finish inside your top. So that is it, guys. And I wanted to show you something. When you're forming this basque waistline here, when you reach the 1 inch sewing allowance, don't continue diagonally, just continue straight into the 1 inch seam allowance, so that after sewing you have a clean finish. I didn't do that, and my piece just I ended up with a little bit of an excess. I'll show that to you. So after here, joining along the sides, you see that excess piece. It is because I didn't continue straight when I was forming the basque waistline. But if I had not continued diagonally, if I had, when it comes to the seam allowance, if I had just continued straight into the seam allowance, not straight diagonally, but straight flat, I will show that to you in the next video. Anyways, that excess wouldn't have been there. But otherwise, guys, this is the top after finishing everything. That is the basque waistline. The upper part, I really wanted it to be a little bit flat, no deep sweetheart neckline. And the back also, it is a lesser back. That is the modest panel. Comment below, tell me what do you think about this video. I think I'm going to be making corsets, because you guys, I think I love Bustier's corsets recently so much. I really want to make more and more and more and more. And guys, thank you so much for watching. See you soon.